Well, hello there, wonderful people. Look at me, I look all nice and dapper, like shaved my beard and shaved my head. I have a few updates to give you, because I've done some work on the electrics, although the problem with the electrics were I got a schematic from this guy that I found on YouTube because he had the exact same inverter that I have, and he's an electrician, so I got in touch. He arranged me a schematic of everything that I want and need with all the cable sizes, fuses and all that jazz. So yeah, I just need to follow the schematic and put everything together. However, there are some nitty-gritty things, like for example the Victron Links distributor, the 1000 amp one, doesn't come with the lugs and the lug nuts for the terminals where the positives and negatives from the battery connect, which was fucking weird, but hey ho. So I had to order those. Then I found out that the fuses that I got were MIDI, not mega fuses, so they were too small for the distributor. Then I was struggling to connect the distribution boxes because some cables had to be split out and I didn't have the splitter, so just like random shit like that. So I had to like figure it out, delay a few things, and I've done what I could so far, but it's very difficult to do stuff when you already don't know what you're doing and then you're missing parts. So trying to piece the puzzle with missing parts, doing what I can, is quite difficult, but regardless, this is what we have so far, and I pretty much have everything. I just have fuses coming in today, so I'm just wiring everything up. You can see the positives on the inverter, and the positive and the negative on the inverter is in. We have the shunt here that I'm going to connect to the distribution box. I have the distribution box here. I have all the lugs and the lug nuts now. I'm already putting in fuses and connecting the inverter there. We have the fuse for the battery here, which is going to go into this switch here. And from that switch, the positive is going to go into this terminal on the distribution panel, the bus bar essentially. And then we have the MPPT and DC to DC charger, and I already routed the positive to the battery. That's fused with a 70 amp fuse. And we have the switch for the solar panels if I need to do any maintenance here. Yeah, it's all coming together nicely. Just need to wire a bunch of stuff now. Need to ground everything. Need to do the shore power distribution boxes, which is why I needed those splitters, 3-way splitters, and should be good to go. Then I can test it out, turn on the engine, see if the charger is working and we don't explode, then connect to shore power and see if the charger is working and we don't explode, see if the inverter is working, although I need to get some sockets, three-pin sockets for that to test out, but I gotta wait and see how everything goes. So this is what we got going on right now. We need to attach a lug nut to this, 70mm to 8mm, and then a 70mm to 10mm, because the switch for the battery has 10mm terminals and the fuse for the battery has an 8mm terminal. Another thing that I fucked up with, I thought all of the terminals will be 8mm without actually checking, so I just bought 8mm lugs, but I needed 10mm just for a few parts, so you live and you learn. Alright, so one end's 8mm, one end's 10mm. Roughly measure it out. So roughly to around here. Make an incision, then peel the cable like a potato. Just like that. Then you wiggle it back and forth, and then eventually it comes off. Eventually, unless it didn't cut it enough. Why is it that I turn on the camera and then suddenly I cannot fucking pull this rubber off? Everything else is very quick and easy. But the goddamn cables, man. It is definitely teaching me patience. That is for sure. Then it's time for a little break for a nice sip of hot tea, because it's getting quite chilly out here. I was going to say something inappropriate, but I refrained. Okay, so now what we need to do is I need to find my crimping tool, and I got a very heavy duty one, as opposed to those small ones because of the 70mm cable. Push that cable through, and then we crimp it. Crimp it, crimp it, crimp it. It's quite finicky to get this crimp exactly where you want it to crimp. Then what's more squeeze for a good measure. Maybe one more, because that was easy. Maybe one more. Voila! A crimped cable. Wrap it in some PVC electrical tape. It is electrical tape, don't you worry. So now I got this. That goes on nice and snug. And then this is gonna push up here like this and go into the switch. It's hard to see, but it's gonna go into the input section, which is the left one, which is the on side here. I have a bit of a predicament. I guess sometimes you crimp so hard that the crimper fuses with the lug. Uh-oh. It doesn't want to get unstuck either. I am getting a little bit hot. I'm just a little bit hot because this jacket that I got from my wife's brother. I don't know what you call him, but he was my best man. But I'm getting a little bit hot. It's a very good jacket, but it's hot. It's going to be great to work in it and work wearing it in winter, that's for sure. By the way, OCD people, beware, because this is going to be... I have connected it. So we have the positive from the battery going into a 300 amp switch, fuse. And then from there it's going into the switch and it's off center. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I have sinned, but it works. Hopefully. You know, when I was a kid, I used to love Legos. I used to have like a massive white bag full of Legos. And I used to build it all the freaking time, build it, destroy it, build it, destroy it, build it, destroy it, like a little psychopath. You know what I'm realizing now? I just realized another realization. But the first realization was the electrics in the van are like Lego. Just a very, very dangerous one and very, very complicated one. Like it's like an adult adrenaline junkie Lego. But then I realized the whole van build is like that. The whole van is just like a Lego. I got a little bit warm, which is a good sign because the insulation is doing its job, but I've connected the battery terminals now, so let me show you. So, you can see the positive. It's very hard because it's very dark. But the positive terminal is here. It's going to the 300 amp fuse, then it's going to the switch, and then it's arcing over into the bus bar. And then the negative side, which starts just here, goes to the shunt into the battery negative terminal. Then the power negative terminal is going into the negative terminal into the bus bar. So now I need to connect the 12 volt system to the bus bar. Then I'm gonna get some cables for MPPT and DC charger. I'm gonna connect that into the bus bar here, and then I think we'll be able to switch it on and check it out and see if anything explodes. Although there is a possibility that the battery is dead right now, so I might need to just switch it on, let the solar panels do their thing and charge it up somewhat, and then we'll see if anything that's plugged in works. The only thing that's plugged in right now is the max air fan, so if the max air fan works, I did a good job. An update after a couple of days have passed by because we have made some progress. So the main electrics are finally done, and you can see it's showing that the battery is connected, lithium battery, solar panels are charging, and then the alternator obviously is not charging because the car is not on. Everything's connected. We have the battery sensor attached to the battery for proper charging. Inverters here, everything is working. The 12 volt system is also working. For example, if I turn on the max air fan, it opens up and starts spinning beautifully. So that's all nice and dandy. So now what I have to do is I have to finish off the shore power, which is gonna be these two bad boys right here. You need to put all the fuses and controllers, whatever you call them. So there's an RCA switch here with this contactor thing. I'm not really sure what that does, but this contactor. And then we have another switch and a bunch of double fuses or whatever you call them. And that's gonna fuse out the 240 volt supply inside the van, and then it's gonna make the connection to the shore power a lot safer as well. So moving forward, doing a bunch of things, making progress, only positive vibes, only growth, only moving forward, no backwards motion at all. Update! So I have my schematics up and I have done one of the fuse boxes. You can see the shore power cable coming in from the wall, and then you can see the blue 3-core cable going into the input side of the Renogy inverter. And then the output side is here that I still haven't wired up, but that's today's job. It's gonna go into the second fuse box. That's gonna have 2 fuses there. One's gonna be for circuit 1 and one's gonna be for circuit 2. Now circuit 1 is gonna go around this area here. That's gonna be the first double socket. And then circuit 2 is gonna go around that area here where the bed's going to be. I'm gonna have one double socket on one side, one double socket on the other side, so we can plug in our laptops while we work, or we can plug them in while we watch something on the laptop, or whatever it may be. We'll have a total of 6 triple pin sockets, 3 double sockets, if that makes fucking sense, because it didn't make sense to me. I watched videos about distribution boards and everyone's like, oh, it's quite easy to wire, it's easy to do, it's very straightforward, but I disagree firmly, because look at this fucking shit. Look at the carnage of cables in here. In such a tight space, you can't even see it fully, but my god, it's not easy to maneuver those cables. I think it's 2.5 mil ones, those are not too bad because they're quite thin, but the 6 mil ones, oh my fucking god, absolute pain in the ass. I think the 6 mil ones are purely for the fact that there might be a surge from the inverter, potentially, sometimes, so the 6 mil cables compensate for that. Absolute carnage. Cable carnage. I just need to put the cover on now, set up the inverter with whatever settings I need to set, and then once the inverter is set, I'm gonna tidy up the cables and I'm actually going to plug into shore power and check if everything's okay and the battery's charging. And yeah, electrics are gonna be, the main part of the electrics is gonna be done. And it's just gonna be a case of connecting all the 12 volt stuff, but that's gonna be easy peasy lemon squeezy. You might be hearing a bit of a noise right now. I don't know how audible it is because the microphone is supposed to block out some noise, but you might be hearing a bit of a noise and maybe a bit of a whistly noise. I don't know if you can, but anyway. Electrics are done. The inverter is on. The fuse boxes are there. Yeah, the inverter is on and it is actually charging through shore power. So it's all connected, all working, and we can actually see. Ignore the percentage because that's not correct. It needs to be reset. But you can see there's 75 amps coming in, 1 kilowatt into the battery right now. So yeah, it's charging up nicely, just how it should be through the inverter settings. 75 watts, no issues at all, no fuses are popping, RCAs are fine. So yeah, we are Gucci. We are fucking Gucci. So electrics are done. And to be honest, it was definitely a challenge because I always found electrics scary. I never wanted to touch electrics in my life, but I went out of my comfort zone and I did it. I learned a lot, like a lot. I can essentially do a decent amount of electrics now thanks to this endeavor and thanks to me getting out of my comfort zone. And I highly encourage people to not necessarily convert to van if it's not a thing, if it's not your thing and it's not cheap. You can make it a lot cheaper than I'm doing, but it's not cheap. Regardless, go out of your comfort zone, do something that you're afraid of, give it your best. It doesn't have to be perfect, but give it your best, and the reward that you will get at the end is going to be immense. It's going to be so much better than just doing something short term. It's just going to give you a short dopamine rise for a little bit, and it's going to fade away in a couple of days, maybe even a day. If you do something like this that takes a while and it's challenging, and you do it and you finish it, and you're like, fuck, I did this. I am fucking smart. I did it. I thought it's not going to be possible for me, but I still fucking persevered. That is where the true dopamine comes in, the true brain juice of success. That's where you get all of your fulfillment from, essentially. So don't do easy things, do difficult things, and then make the difficult things easy down the line. That's how you want to do it. That's how you want to smash life out of the park. But that's it for the electric side of things. thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna try and up the video quality as much as I can, but I am trying to do my coaching stuff on top of this, and it's sapping my energy and time away. And I'm also converting this van, which is taking a lot of time, but I'm still gonna be making these videos, and I'm still gonna be sharing my journey and my experience. So if you want to be part of it, see how I grow, see how this journey unfolds. We have some big plans, traveling all over the place, all over Europe, potentially next year. If you want to follow us, subscribe, like, share, all that jazz, comment. I get back to every single comment. I love you guys. Look after yourselves, challenge yourselves, do something that you never thought you would do, because that's how you grow. I love you all. See you soon.